Oh, it looks like we are live. Welcome, everyone, for this Footsore Friday. We have another live broadcast. We are today with Mark Farr, Andy Hobday, and myself, Tim Spakowski. So, how are you guys doing?
Yeah, good. I had to think about it for a second because obviously
It's Friday night.
It's Friday night. My main concern is how long is it until I open my bottle of wine. But generally speaking, we live in interesting times, don't we? So, as personally, we're all obviously being very COVID aware and constantly watching what's going on as a business. We're a small team, well spread out, so it's not too bad. But we have different suppliers and stuff are having challenges with bits and pieces, so that delays things and as such. But life goes on, doesn't it? We just got to keep cracking on. So yeah, from a business point of view,
Right.
people are still supporting us and buying toy soldiers off us and giving us loads of feedback, sharing us loads of images of stuff they're painting and stuff they're doing. Everybody's really loving Mythic, and we're starting to see a lot of painted stuff come through for that, and people are playing and commenting, and that's really good. So from my point of view, that's where we are, and all things considered, we're in a good place.
Yeah. How about you, Andy? What have you been up to?
Yeah, just echoing what Mark's just said there. I'm kind of having a bit of a dichotomy on it. Being a screaming introvert, I actually like this isolation, and I'd quite happily stay in my room, although I need to get it painted. I really don't like the colour in here. And work remotely. I kind of like that. But on the other hand, obviously everything that's going on, especially in the UK at the moment, it's looking like it's beginning to escalate again. So we have to see what happens. So it could be interesting times, I think, all in all. We just have to make use of the time the best we can. But that aside, let's start really cheerfully.
Well, but we end on a positive note that we are doing well. We're doing wonderful. We're very, very busy.
Yeah.
And the things that are going outside our borders, we're working with, and we're we're still here. We're open. We're manufacturing. We're
absolutely. And when it all started, we I'll be honest, we had conversations going, what's going to happen?
Right.
Because we had no idea, and luckily it's been difficult, but I guess being a bit of a hobby business, it helps. So what has it done? What have I been able to do or been up to? Well, it's allowed me to finish off the Barons Wall rules quite comfortably, which I'm very pleased with. And further to my post today, it's kind of grown from the 70 pages I planned it to be to 120, and it could even grow a bit more. Looking through it today, I think there might be a few more pages to add, but which is a good thing, So it's kind of gone from being an alpha, which was the idea that we would produce something and get it out there for people to play with, to actually, I think, being quite a robust core set of rules. So quite excited about it, really, and we were just talking about it, weren't we, Tim, before we went live. I'm quite nervous about it too, because we're enjoying playing it. The people who have played it with us have enjoyed it, but you don't know until it's gone out there and people get to play it, see what they think about it. So we'll wait and see. But it's good, and I've called in some favors and we've got some nice artwork and stuff, so it's lovely. I'm feeling quite confident at the moment about it all, and feeling quite jolly.
Yeah.
So when should we expect it to actually be available?
Well, the timeline now is really myself and Steve Beckett, who are working on it. He's the arty dude that makes everything I do look nice. Him and I are just now going through it and laying out, seeing what diagrams we want, that kind of thing. And I want it to be at the printers next month. In what's that, October? See, who knows? Feels October feels like 2025. It's been going on for so long. October next month. So the plan is, once it goes to the printers, we will send out the digital copy to all the backers. So it should be out in the wild then. So if you've already, backed Barons of War 1, you'll be able to start having a play and building your forces ready. So yeah, it's all very, very exciting.
Great.
Good. And obviously, as being one of the play testers, it's made me pick up my paintbrush again, which I haven't done for a little while. And I've quite enjoyed painting the Barons Wall figures. Really nice. Paul Hicks has done a cracking job on the sculpts, and they're lovely to paint. I really, and I've put a little force together, and I've quite enjoyed doing it. And different people we've been talking to have, gone and looked at their history in their area and seen what families are there and who they're related to, and dug out the heraldry and all this kind of stuff. So, it's been quite exciting, and I've enjoyed the entire experience of getting to know the rules, of working out how to have a good force, and being able to play some good games, and every game I've played has been down to the wire, and that's a good game.
Right. Yeah.
We've had to have a lie down afterwards. It's
we are getting on, so a little snoozing.
That's just a weight of the dice these days, Mark, isn't it? Rolling those dice.
It is.
Yeah, it's good. It's I keep saying that. I think it is, and I just hope people feel the same when it gets out there. So yeah, and it's got the basic rules have got, like as Mark says, there's a lot of choice in there. So even though there's the usual array of troop types, spearmen, crossbowmen, archers, sergeants, all of that, knights, that kind of thing, there's different levels to them. So they've got different experience, and you can give them different weapons, and you can give them different abilities. So all of a sudden, you can have 4, 5, 10 different types of spearmen in your units, groups. So you can make them very different. Every group of spearmen in your force can be different. So it's quite cool. And then there's I'm sure I mentioned this last time, but I quite like it, the Builder Baron. I'm going to TM that. It's a bit like Builder Bear over here, but Builder Baron.
Right.
And you can then go and build your commanders however you want them. So you can add extra points to their stats and pay pay points for them and give them different abilities. So that all of a sudden really opens it up. You can create the characters that we haven't done, or just make up some wily old sergeant to lead a group of someone. So it's pretty cool. It's good. Yeah.
And the named characters have got special abilities as well, haven't they? So they're all good. They're all good, and it's got a bit of character and a bit of depth to it, which is nice. I get quite attached to my little force now. It's like they've been through a few scrapes now. I don't want to change them that much. It'd be like adding another unit or changing stuff. It'd be like an imposter unit. They're my mates now. Me and good King John, have been doing really well.
He did all right last time, didn't he?
He did.
Yeah.
He did.
So that game definitely looks heavily terrain based. So it looks like you need a lot of good terrain.
Yeah.
It's just it's a skirmish game, so the idea is to have lots of line blocking terrain, line of sight blocking terrain. Otherwise, you could take an entire army of crossbowmen and sit at the back and shoot everybody. And if your opponent's stupid enough to let you do that, then you deserve everything you get. So we haven't really restricted the army lists in that way. So there's good and bad in everything. But the idea is it's not a big pitch battle. It's not, you're not going out there and fighting this massive pitch battle. It's a tight skirmish battle. So, it's a bit different.
Yeah, it's not rally two armies, find a flat field. Shall we start at 10? Can we make it 11? Oh, all right, crack on.
Yeah.
It's not that. It's those sneaky dawn raids and those little ambushes. And can I get one over on my next door neighbour who stole my pigs? And that it's much more. It's much more that kind of stuff. So it's
collecting taxes, that kind of thing.
Yeah, collecting taxes, always good. Yeah, well, it's not his fault. Richard spent all the money. It's that all of the little stuff that you knew went on, because it's all part of the bigger picture, but nobody really talks about it. It's not, but it all definitely went on. Definitely, it would have gone on. What's always interesting for me is if you jump forward to like the English Civil War, where the population's a lot more literate. There's loads of interesting history about all the different manor houses and who was royalist and who was parliamentarian, and you could have within a couple of miles of each other somebody was parliamentarian, somebody was royalist. Whichever side was winning at the time, would get some reinforcements, and off they go and blow the hell out of each other's manor house and see how long they can hold out for. And that's interesting because it's got all of the written word, but there's less of that for like the Barons' War. But actually, the country hasn't changed much since then. The people who are in charge and who've got the manor houses and stuff haven't changed much since then. And it would have been very similar, if not exactly the same, minus the black powder. So it's just good fun, and it's good fun to research and find stuff as well. So
definitely. Yeah, it's all very exciting. I'm quite happy at some point to answer. We did the Q&A on it and all of that, but I kind of don't want to get to the point like we're rubbing people's faces in it because we haven't released it yet. But it's coming. It really is coming, and it's on track. And the rules can be used. I think can be used all the way from about 1067. All the way past where they are. And easily before Mark, couldn't they? We could go all the way back. All of the west of Rome and the Saxons coming in and the Romano British. We could do all that too. We could do like Arthurian war bands and stuff.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It would easily do that, and we could do all of the characters, Arthurian characters, and they'd all have special abilities.
And we've already got a range. Why did we only just think of this?
Oh yeah. But yeah, they'll easily do that.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Sounds like a good supplement book.
Yeah, I'm distracted there.
Yeah. I'm thinking it's it now, he's gone.
So when will the Barons' War be the Kickstarter be funded or fulfilled? I'm sorry.
Oh, well, it's ship.
Yeah.
Mark?
Ship.
So we, as I'm sure
what are we talking about?
That was just to make Andy nervous. So we are currently getting through nearly 100 kilos a week of metal casting stuff. So I think we might mention this last time when we calculated how much the weight was going to be. We realised we needed a ton of metal. Now we have got. There's not many people who know where we are yet as Footsore, but basically we're in a building that is essentially a concrete bunker next to a cliff face, and it's got solid concrete floors that are about. They must be a good meter thick. They're solid, but even I did. We're on the first floor. I didn't want to put a ton of metal in any one specific space in the building. So we've been calling off 100 kilos a week of metal, and we've been chunking through it. So when you go into our unit now, there's like a whole section that's set up in a big like U shape that's got all the codes of all of the stuff all shipped round, and there's 5 boxes in each section, and each box holds 100 packs, and we're just going and filling with these boxes and going round and round and round and round and filling them, the casting and making, and we've got extra staff for the casting and all the rest of it, and the packing, and it's just logistically. I can't remember the last time we haven't done anything as Footsore. We've never done anything this big. As with other companies I've worked for, we've dealt with similar size projects, but I'm expecting us to have finished all of the casting in the next couple of weeks, and then it'll just be packing it all into bags, and the resin all into blisters, because obviously resin looks beautiful, but it doesn't travel particularly well. So that's all getting extra packaging. And then, we're still online. I would have hoped that everybody, by the time it's all been shipped and it's been around the rest of the world, etc., everybody will have it well before Christmas. So that's that October. There you go. That's the bit Andy was waiting for. He was like, so
I just made a note of that there, so I just put it in writing.
Yeah, it's right. I've said it live now. So yeah, so we're on schedule. We're on schedule to deliver on time, which is good, because we delivered the first one on time. We delivered Mythic on time, and we'll deliver this on time. So we're.
But it is big, isn't it? I mean, we ran the numbers when we locked it the other day. 560 odd packs of Sergeant, Foot Sergeants, one. 500 packs of Foot Sergeant 2. These are, and we're really chuffed about it, and it's really exciting. These are not numbers that we're used to in one go. No. So the guys at Footsore, you guys do a fantastic job. It's very exciting, and the other thing is we do want to ship it before Brexit, so that's really important too. So it needs to leave us before then. And also, Mark will choke now, he's drinking. Paul and I have already started on another project. So, we want to ship or be as close to. We think we might be able to sneak it in this year. So.
Yeah. Well, we've got nothing better to do.
Yeah, of course not. Yeah, it won't ship until next year. But we thought we might try and sneak one in, a small focused one. We had a great idea, so we're going to try and give that a go.
Yeah, your idea of small and focused may not be the same idea as mine for small and focused.
So there you go. That's the first time I've spoken about it. So
yes.
Well, I'm excited when you start releasing more information, so that we can both of us brace for whatever is coming our way. So
it will be brace.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, this one was Paul's idea as well.
Oh,
so and this isn't the next one we planned. So we planned. We've got a really, really fantastic one coming, which will be the next phase really, and we'll still be using the same rules, but it will be the next phase. But this will just kind of round off the Barons War, I think.
For this year.
For this year.
For this year. Yes. The next Kickstarter it'll use the Barons War rules, the next big one that we're going to do, but it won't be the Barons War. It'll be set somewhere else. Have a new logo and everything. It's really exciting. But I can't talk about it because I can't get distracted until next year.
Can you please put one project to bed before you start?
Yes, one at a time. One at a time.
Yes, good.
But yeah, very excited.
Because with what you're doing and what we're doing, it's.
Yes, because I know from here on this side of the pond, we're in the process of molding the mythic monsters.
Yeah.
And the other metal figures. So let's get through that first.
Yes. Yeah. This is Yeah, don't panic, chaps. This is no production until 2021. But I think
It's not that far away.
No, it's not.
September.
That's true. And look. We talked at the beginning that we're all locked down,
Right.
so we need something to do. And while I'm sat here, my brain goes like this.
That's right.
I've got a fantastic project for next year.
I understand.
Which is a different one.
I understand. And I see it's funny. Chris Long says, what was it, Chris Long?
Have you cloned him?
Cloned Andy?
No, it's cloned Paul. Have we cloned Paul?
Oh, clone Paul?
Yeah. He's just prolific. He's just frighteningly prolific. And he's an absolute joy to work with. So having known him, it's really good because he's a good mate. So it's just a real pleasure to work with him. So we've been firing off each other recently. This one that we'd like to do. Someone's mentioned here, Daniel Poljak said campaign books. Well, this Kickstarter will be a campaign. So it's going to be a campaign for the Barons Wall is the idea.
So that'll be quite exciting because we've not done a campaign pack for a better description before. So, obviously we've probably all played different campaigns in our wargaming career, but we've not done one ourselves. So this will be an exciting new venture, I think. So, yeah.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Yes, they said, Daniel said, campaign books don't necessarily need additional minis. No, it's not a massive mini one, but there's going to be some focused minis done for the campaign.
Remember that. Remember he said that.
Yeah, it's yeah.
Right. Yep.
Yeah. John Wiggly said another project. You know the project we're talking about, John.
Yes.
It's time.
It is time.
Okay, so that's it for 2021 then.
Yes.
Yes. And, this is. I think we might have done this. Discussed this before as well. We're like, there's always stuff bubbling under, and some stuff, rises to the top, and some stuff has to go back because we're only a little team. But we're never sat on our laurels doing nothing. There's always, we got this, and where does that go? Where do we fit this in, and how do we get the best out of that? And do we think people are like this? And it might be something like Gangs of Road. We go, people love it, but it was one of our first things. Do we want to go back and revisit it? Well, yes, we do, but when can we do it? Because we can't do it right now because we've got all of this other stuff going on. So it's there's always loads of stuff.
Yeah, the ideas and things aren't an issue, are they? It's actually delivering them.
Yeah,
it's the manpower to deliver them.
It's the manpower.
Yeah.
It's not that we do not have the means. It's the matter of, do we have the mental capacity to see it through on top of the other stuff that we're juggling.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Well, John alluded to there with John Wiggly with a project with John. John's been drawing stuff now for a long time. I won't tell you how long because he'll get cross with me. But the project that we want to do with John is very, very exciting. But it's one of those we need to do properly.
Right.
Well, we have to do credit to the lovely artwork he's done, don't we? So
yes. And it's one of the projects that I'm the most excited about.
Well, good. That's good. That's exciting. So then I can be excited as well.
Yeah.
We don't want your head to explode, Tim. So we've not shared everything with you.
No, that's okay. I can only take so much. We had a question about modern rules, and we are in the process of working on our modern rules. We've actually have brought someone on board to assist us with that, and I'm very excited about it. I'm very excited about the look and the feel of it, and I'm excited for it to be the rules that I play and let others play and say, this is what I play. This is a great set of rules, and that's what's important, because we write games that we play. So
absolutely. I mean,
very exciting.
It's for us, it's exciting on this side of the pond, because it's a big departure from us, to look at moderns. I mean, we tend to as being the UK, it's always better to look backwards. It's more nostalgic. It was probably better then. Much more, much better to look through rose tinted glasses to look at the current situation. But moderns for us is really exciting, and it's created a lot of interest over here. To be honest, more than I thought it would. And I think if we get the rules right, they're going to be awesome. I'm already, obviously I'll have to paint up some SAS. That goes without saying. But I'm already looking forward to getting some stuff, and already in my head, I'm writing a wish list of equipment and bits and pieces and scenarios I want to do. And funnily enough, recently this is your fault, Tim. I've started watching some more modern, up to date movies. I've just watched a couple recently. One that was based in Africa, which was quite interesting, about the Irish. That was quite good. And then the other one about the Australians in Vietnam, and that was really good. And they're just those kind of close quarter conflicts that you imagine a good set of rules would get really, really well. And if it's I'm sure it will be as much fun and just as tense as the games we've been playing in the Barons Rules. So I'm really quite excited about them, because it's a long time since I've actually shot anything. So that'd be good. On the War Games table, let me be clear about that.
I'm quite excited about it because I've got minimal input. So
just sit back and take the glory.
No, this is Tim's gig. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, talk about nervous.
Yeah,
you want to get it right.
Yeah.
And the big thing for me, and we talked about this before, is igniting that imagination and making you see the scenes going on in your head, and then how it's playing out onto the table, and you're back to a younger kid playing.
Yeah.
That is
absolutely.
That is why we're doing this. That's why not, So I'm excited, because the idea is, once that is established, then we can go in different directions with different campaign books and different settings.
Yeah, so it's very, obviously we talked about it, what you want to do, and it's very exciting what you're going to do with it. And joking aside, it is nice that I'm not having to be involved, but it's nice to then receive it in to look at it and play it. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, you'll see it with, for a change, you'll see it with fresh eyes, won't you? You'll go, this is, and it'll be nice for you to have a rule set that you get, and you go, oh, this is new and exciting, rather than, we did that 6 months ago,
Yeah. Well, no, you're right. You're right.
Yeah. So no pressure, Tim.
I hope that answers questions. I know it's somewhat vague, but I promise you, we are definitely working on it. We're actually already working on artwork for it and all that sort of fun stuff, which I'm very excited about. So.
Yeah, you've got a lovely range of miniatures. It'd be churlish not to have a rule set to go with them. That's the real positive. Yeah, it's exciting, really exciting.
Yeah.
So it's some.
I think now we're starting to get it over in the UK. Has a lovely range of moderns, and there's more coming. So it's all very exciting. Yeah.
There is more coming. There's already more sculpted that hasn't even been released, and the idea is to release those both at the same time, so that the UK is ready to have them. And I was thinking about doing that. It just depends upon the timing of when the modern rules will be done. I'd love to do it. And that doesn't mean that nothing's not happening from a modern perspective or pulp perspective, pulp miniatures perspective. It's just things are. I can tell you, Monday I'm supposed to get some stuff from Stavros, and just so stuff's going on in the background. Stuff's going on.
Yeah, if you got Stavros as a sculptor, he is a machine.
He is a machine, and he's wonderful to work with. He's, from my experience of working with different sculptors, he's very enjoyable, very easy to work with, and he's just, you can depend on him.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
That's what you want. That's what you need.
Yeah, that's what we want. Yeah,
we've had a question go through quite quickly from Phil Craft, the lovely Phil Craft. He does some beautiful stuff for Mortal Gods. He says, "Is there a Mortal Gods rule set version 2 planned?"
He's only just had the rule set 1 and Mythic.
Come on, I just learned the first version.
I was going to say I don't think I've run a game yet in version 1. So not until we've got that sorted. So we are again, like Gangs of Rome. It was one of our earlier projects, and we have learned stuff from it.
To be honest, it was only released March last year.
Yes.
Wow.
On pre-order, and then it sold out, didn't it? On pre-order.
Yes. Yeah.
And then the general release was June, so it's only been out 16, 18 months.
Yeah.
So
I think it's going to be a while before it's played out, and with Mythic added to it as well, I think that's going to give it a whole new dimension.
But there is one thing. There is one thing we do have to do, Mark, and that's the boxes still have War Banner on.
Yes.
The book still has War Banner on, so we'll probably have to do another print run. Thank you, Games Workshop.
Yeah.
So we'll probably have to do another print run at some point.
Yeah.
So that could be a version 2, and in there we would, tidy up some of the rules maybe and just freshen it up a bit and put some new painted pictures in, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Can I show off what we got today, Mark?
Yes, go on then. Yes, I think it's quite exciting. Yeah.
There he is.
So
we've got loads of stuff like that. I mean, with Mythic just released, there's loads that we can still do. I mean, we all know who he is, don't we, on the left?
Yeah.
The two.
Yeah. If you play Mythic, you should work out who that is. So, I think it's worth pointing out that when we released Mythic, we really focused on the gods and those factions, but we did loads of cards because we can't help ourselves. So, when you bought Mortal Gods, you had that 2 bricks of cards so that you could actually do pretty much any basic Greek force that you wanted. Way more cards than there was miniatures in the game. So if you had forces already, you could use them. And when we did Mythic and we did the heroes, we listed out a whole load of cards for the heroes, but we weren't ready when we went live with all of the sculpts and stuff. So we are adding the heroes to the range as we go. So when we go live with the Kickstarter falling into the main range, then we will start to add the heroes as well. So I know people are playing with some very nice proxies at the moment, but we're going to add our own in there as well, which I think are beautiful. They're just
you're sculpting them.
I love them. I should know the answer off the top of my head, but I was too big. Matt Bickley, there you go. the wonderful Matt Bickley is sculpting these. And sorry, Matt, if you're watching, I just had a senior moment there for a second, and he's doing these for us.
Drinking wine yet?
I haven't started drinking wine yet, but it's not far off. But when he's, Matt, he's doing several things for us, some of which we're not showing now because they're different and exciting. But he's been adding these guys to the range for us, and the plan is that, you know, hopefully every month after Mythic drops into the main range, we'll be able to pop some of the characters in as well.
That's all we're going to do. He's doing the whole hero deck, isn't he?
He's doing the whole. Yeah, he's doing the whole thing. Yeah. I mean, you know, and they're just lovely. I mean, I think they're some of the nicest, for want of a better word, ancient figures that I've seen. And, you know, being a war gamer for many years, I've seen a lot of toy soldiers, but these for me are just a bit special.
Yeah, well, they look gorgeous. A lot of character.
Sorry, Tim. How many has he done so far, Mark?
It's
Friday night, you see, he's getting on a bit, so asking loads of really pointed questions.
Yeah, thanks, Andy. So he's done 2 characters so far to go with Jason and the Argonauts. He's done another single figure character, and now we've got these, and then there's probably, I think, half a dozen more to go after this, and then he's done everything that's on the cards, and then obviously in the background as well, because he's not the only sculptor working on Mythic. We've got Trish working on some more monsters and stuff as well. So, you know, there's everybody so far has really liked what we've done for Mythic. So obviously we're definitely gonna do lots more for it. Has that answered your question? Have you got another difficult question for me? Like how many toy soldiers in the kilo of metal?
Well, we can work that out, can't we?
Yeah.
I would think
a lot.
I'm looking at Heracles.
I'll tell you what would be a difficult question. I was going to say, how many toy soldiers have you got upstairs, Mark?
Upstairs?
Yeah.
Not that many.
That's what you tell your wife, yeah?
In my loft. In my loft.
That's what I mean. In your loft.
Thousands of them. Literally thousands of them. So yeah. So yes. So we're talking about moving house, and my wife is already has already worked a plot at the back of the garden of the new place where I'm going to have a man shed, and that's where I and all my soldiers have to live. And it's not optional.
Well, I hate moving, and the thought of moving all of this, no way.
Yeah,
mate, I'm slowly building up my collection of really useful boxes. I can tell you that.
I bet you are. I bet you are. Okay, I'm trying to think what else that we can talk about that we're working on.
Well, I think Phil also asked about the Boasian League deck with the Thebans and stuff. Yes, I'd like to do it this year.
Yeah,
if we can. We just need to create the cards, I think, now and finish off the gifts. They're done, and then it'd be lovely to do some real characterful leaders for them. And we should get those out, because there's two real pressing decks for me that we need to do for the Mortal Gods. One is that one, and the other one is the one we keep talking about, which I've nearly finished, which is the extras. You know, like all the mounted Greeks, all the characters. You know, we got Fatis, we got I can't even remember his name. You know, the thespian dude. We got loads of characters that we haven't. We've got figures that we haven't released. So there's a bunch of those. There's some Persian characters I want to release. So there's all of those, and a big wad of gifts to add to the game. You know, so that's really what we want to do. And then on top of that, we've already commissioned some sculpting for the Persians, haven't we? The chariot and the Marines, the Egyptian Marines. So they'll be coming at some point. So there's lots going on still for Mortal Gods. And then, you know, the other thing we want to do is Troy, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
So I think Mortal Gods as a game system lends itself perfectly for the whole Legend of Troy, you know, the whole theme of it. So we've already got loads of it done with the help of Richard Seven, and we just need to finish off all of the warriors, and once they're done, we'll put all that together and see where we go. But I can see just loads of chariot fighting with that. That'd be ace.
That'd be neat. I like that.
Yeah. So
we can't leave it alone. We just can't. We have to keep tinkering around the edges, don't we? Because there's always something to do. So nothing gets left out. It's always there's always something going on. So yeah.
Yeah, but when you create something like we created Mortal Gods, all of these ideas were all there anyway. It's actually more about dialing it back instead of trying to release it all at once. None of this is new ideas. These are all things that we've kind of created already. We just need to produce them and release them. A lot of the creatures and stuff that monsters that Trish is working on are ones that we'd already identified, like Cerberus. Which we would like to have released in the first time round, but we could only release so many.
Just couldn't do it,
and also if it released and it didn't like it wouldn't, but there's always that chance that it might not take, and you create twice as much stuff. It's better to just test the water a bit and then go again, isn't it?
Yep, absolutely.
So that's the plan. So it's all good. So that's Mortal Gods will be around for a while, and I've already thought of the next incarnation of it, of what we can do with it. So plenty to do.
Good. Are you gonna stick that other taster picture up that you showed me earlier?
Maybe I'll do that in a minute, because just going back, I just want to see who it was. Someone asked about our Richard I figure.
Oh, right. Free. I don't know if it's a free miniature or.
Yeah, there we go. Jonathan Patterson said, "Hi, is the new Richard I figure going to be a new range of Crusaders?"
Well, at the moment, what we're doing is we've got this lovely range of miniatures that we do every month, and the idea is that at the moment we've kind of done a little bit around Longshanks, so it's the figures are all going to be kind of related to that kind of medieval period, and we just see what's popular, because it's always a good tester. I mean, Llewellyn has gone bonkers. Which is it's one of my favourite figures. I was sat there cogitating, drinking a cup of tea the other day, and thinking, if I actually get about 3 of those, I'm wondering if I could do a mounted version of him. And, kind of like leaning down off his, because he's got his head tilted, leaning down off his sword, like chopping somebody. So and I've not done any real conversions in a while. So again, for me, if I get that excited about a figure that I go, I want to do this with it, then that's quite exciting. And Richard, we did him on foot first, because if you remember, we kind of he was kind of our salute figure, I think it was, when we did that, and he was so popular that we asked for him on a walls. And I particularly wanted to show him in his helmet and his big crest and all that, and he's lovely. He looks like what he should be doing, leading from the front. Come on, get in there. So he's not quite fits with what we've done at the moment, but that doesn't mean we couldn't. We're Footsore miniatures. We make all sorts of stuff.
Or someone else might do something.
Yeah, or somebody else might do something. Yeah.
He's not a million miles away.
Yeah. Sorry, that was a bit round the houses, wasn't it? We're not telling you.
Yes, we kind of talked about Crusaders. The thing for me is I've written the Barons War in a way that all you need to do is stick some Crusader army lists on top. So we have a range of Caliphate miniatures. We have loads of Normans, which really just swap the shields around a bit. You'd have early Crusaders.
Yeah.
If we're talking about the Holy Orders, that's something different, and a lot of people focus on that. I kind of like the whole kingdoms of Jerusalem, or the Outremer bit. We've talked about this before, haven't we? So I kind of like that. Fortunately, if it depends on which version of Kingdom of Heaven you've seen, I like a lot of the characters who were in there. It's not historically accurate, but the real Balian of Evelyn and Sibylla and all the rest of them, they're really actually interesting characters. And you have the Battle of Hattin and stuff. They would, for me, would make really interesting characters as the focal points, and we could have some smaller units of monastic knights and stuff. So that's definitely coming.
Everybody thinks everybody thinks, I know about the Crusades, but they're quite the kind of perception from the Western perspective is kind of quite superficial, because everybody knows about the Templars and stuff, and they think that's it. That was it. They all joined the Holy Order, off to the Holy Land, and actually, when you dig into it, the development of the Holy Military Orders and all of this stuff is only a small part of what's going on, because in that area, it's a huge melting pot of different cultures coming in and either forcing the invaders out or being crushed or being assimilated, and all this stuff going on. So it's a real melting pot of different civilizations, really, and different almost tribal groups and stuff. And it's quite interesting that in this period, what you'd call, like, say, the Muslim Empire was quite open, and you could pretty much practice any religion you wanted, as long as you paid your taxes. That was fine. Whereas there were stories of Christians coming from Europe running into other groups who go, "Oh, hi, we're Christian too." And they go, "Hey, you're not our type of Christian." So it's quite, when you actually dig into it, it's quite, there's loads going on. It's quite different. It's quite exciting, and there's such a mix again of troop types and gear, and it's always interesting for me. The military stuff's interesting when something that's a successful military force meets something else that's a successful military force, and one of them has to change and adapt. So, like the legions of Rome, storming all across Europe until if you believe the Romans just wiped everybody out with no problem at all, sailed through, until they hit the Dacians, and then all of a sudden, you look on Trajan's column and stuff, and the Roman armor changes. They start to use the long sleeves, and they reinforce the helmets, and because the Dacians have got really organized and really efficient. They've got some really good kit. And all of a sudden the Roman legionaries are at a disadvantage. So, and that's kind of what happens when classical European armies hit these, for want of a better word, Muslim armies. There's changes and stuff, and it's quite interesting, quite fascinating. I'll shut up, mate.
For me, the Crusades allow me to do lots of French knights. There you go. Because the knights that stayed over there were predominantly French, who actually set up the, Outremer, so the Kingdom of Jerusalem, the Principality of Antioch, and all of those. The knights that went and stayed were primarily French. So there's lots of interesting stuff we can do, because they do a crusade, they'd all pile over, fight a bit, and then go home because they'd have lands of their own. The ones that settled are the ones I'm interested in, really.
Yeah. Yeah, the ones are out for a land grab.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Just a big land grab. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Here we go. Phil Craft is asking, where comes your inspiration for your settings and minis? From books, video games, or movies, or simple imagination? There's lots of simple imagination going on.
Yeah, especially from me.
Well, we're just going to show another figure. Here you go. Can you see that? That's a book that
Even I can read that.
Even what, the book or the
actual cover?
The actual cover.
Yeah.
So this is my latest book that I've been reading, and he's a character that I'm really interested in. So what we did was, it is really this simple. So we then went and got him made. So, you know, in some cases that happens, you know.
So for those who don't know, Hereward the Wake was one of the leaders of the resistance after the Norman conquest of 1066. Because again, you know, lots of people think that, you know, the Normans arrived in 1066, fought the Battle of Hastings, and then we were all Normans, which is not the case, because the Saxons, being a belligerent bunch of people, decided they didn't like this whole idea that somebody comes over, wins a battle, and goes, "I tell you what, chaps, the entire country is now mine, and you only get land if I grant it to you." Because that's not what it was. That's not what it was like.
It was all his, wasn't it? You know, William the Conqueror owned England.
Yeah, that was it. I now own England, and everybody who gets a bit of land gets it off me, which wasn't what it was like in Anglo-Saxon times. In the previous period, so there was 10 years of warfare, and you know, people as well assume that there was no Normans in England before 1066, but that's not true either, because Hereford Castle was built in 1056 by a Norman, who actually got his ass whipped by the Welsh, but that's another story.
You sure he wasn't just called Norman?
No, he definitely wasn't just called Norman.
Okay.
No. Unless he was Norman the Keep, because he built a keep.
Norman the Keep.
Yeah, but you know, Hereward was, I believe, actually in Europe working, and missed Hastings, and then came back and led a lot of the resistance. And he was a real thorn in the side of the Normans. And you know, he's one of the classic Anglo-Saxon fighters of the period. So yeah.
So
once you start digging underneath once you lift the cover and start looking underneath, there's so much really good stuff, and you don't. Sometimes the reality is better than anything you can imagine.
Right.
So yeah, absolutely. These two are probably the last, aren't they, from our late Saxons for a while?
Yeah.
So it's kind of grown into quite a large range. So we've held off releasing it to release it all together. So you know, this is the last part of it. But yeah, you know, I've also kind of done them because for the army list that we're going to do to go with the Barons Wall.
Yeah.
So you know, I want to play late Saxons next.
And it wouldn't.
So, you know, Phil, that kind of answers the question as well. Where's the inspiration come from? In this case, I'll be honest, with the late Saxons, I commissioned them because I wanted a new army. Late Saxons. So, yeah, that was the inspiration for those.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you know, if you're going to be involved in the toy soldier company, if you can't make the toy soldiers you want.
Yeah. And again, working with Matt's been fantastic on them. So he's done, and hopefully they'll be out this year. That's the plan, isn't it? This is because we keep threatening to release them, don't we? The late Saxons, the extra ones. We keep, and the reason why we haven't done it yet is because we keep adding to it.
Yeah.
So it was initially a range of 12 or something, wasn't it?
Right.
And now it's a range of 36, I think.
Yes, that's about right. And I think originally when we talked about it as well, we were thinking that they were kind of sitting with a more Mortal Gods based system, and we were thinking about the different size units and stuff, and that changed a little bit. So we've got the range out now, but we can change it around a little bit so that it will fit in with the Barons Wall stuff a bit nicer. So that'll be quite good as well. So and these, every figure in that late Saxon range is a beautiful standalone miniature in its own right, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, agreed. Totally agree. So that's really where it comes from, isn't it? The inspiration.
Yeah. There's many sources, isn't there? Really.
A lot of this starts from my perspective of not seeing that something's available, and you just go, well, I guess I have to make it then. This is going to be a pricey figure for me, or a pricey piece of terrain, but it's just like it's not there. I can't find anyone that makes it. Right, we're going to.
Yeah, that's funny enough. That's how Test of Honor started. Graham and I wanted to play a feudal Japanese game, skirmish game. We looked what was out there, and there was one or two, and we weren't really enamored with it. So we just decided to write our own. So we developed a game in the evenings, after work, and we played it for about 18 months, and then it just grew out of that.
And that goes full circle with the rules that you're writing, that you've written now, and continues forward with the other projects.
Yeah, totally.
Rules, and it's you're creating your own toys.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, absolutely. It's really interesting. I think I speak to about this. Someone gave me a really good example about this the other day. We were talking about writing rules and who do you write them for and stuff. And I said, well, I write them for myself.
Right.
I write games that I want to play. And then, not everybody's going to like what you do. So you write a game. Some people will hate it, and that's fine too, because we're all different. But some people love it. But as long as I love it and I'm happy playing it, then that's fine. And this person said to me, I guess it's like writing music. Who do musicians write music for? Well, they write the music that they like. Their music, and then people listen to it, and people don't like it, or people do like it, and that's how you find your niche, don't you? Can you imagine trying to write songs? Oh, I've got to write a song that's going to appeal to everybody. How do I do it? How could you do that?
But you know what though? That I know for me, in the very beginning was kind of stressful, because you're looking for something like, okay, are people going to want this? Has this been done before? Are people really going to like it? Now I think this is going to be cool. I might be wrong, but I think it's cool. So we'll put it out there and offer it to the community. And
I think when you first start, you're looking for a bit of affirmation, aren't you? That you've done something that people are going to like, and then as you do a bit more of it and you enjoy it a bit more and you get that little bit of confidence and people are giving you that positive feedback, you go, all right, okay, I'm on the right track, and I can feel a bit more confident, and then probably you'd be even more a bit braver than you would have been initially about what you want to do and where you go with it, and that's so far the Footsore community has been very positive about everything that we've done, which for me that's the thing, that's if you're on the right track, as you get so much positive feedback, I would hope that everything we do gets positive feedback, and if there is negative feedback, it's constructive criticism, but will we get it right all of the time? I hope so, but we might get it wrong, we might do a howler, we just but
if it's something that you like or you love, then it's easier to own it, isn't it? If it's a howler, but it's something you created and you go, hands up,
that was me, I did that, sorry.
So I don't know. It's really interesting, isn't it? You think about it all. What we've done so far has been quite easy. I think, I don't mean easy as in easy choices.
Yeah.
It's very easy for me to do samurai because I'm really the whole feudal Japan is a real passion of mine, and I have a real love for it. So creating samurai as a first game was, something that I really, really could be passionate about. But I'm also really passionate about, knights with mail. So that whole Barons War thing, and that, we talk about the Barons War, but you're also, I'm really thinking 1098, excuse me, to late 13th century, where that whole Crusader bit as well. It covers all of that period before plate. So it's very easy for me to get passionate about that because it's something I really love. And I love, 1066 and the whole Saxons, etc. So we're picking bits in history that we really enjoy. But however, this isn't my first love. I mean, my first love was Warhammer Fantasy Battle, and I came into all of this from games. Well, I came into it all from Warlock of White Mountain, the fancy book, and then D&D, and that kind of got into it. So that's really my first passion. But then, we had the Cry Havoc and Samurai Blades and those games. So it all kind of gets mishmashed in together. I think the thing is, it's more about what type of games you like to play or how you like to play. And that's the real thing for me. I'm quite happy playing any game as long as it's not painfully serious.
Yeah.
There's
but I'm not saying that in a bad way.
No.
But like these real, acute reenactments, simulations. I have no interest in that whatsoever.
No.
And also we could get into this. Could be a talk for another day. But I've got real when war becomes tangible for me, I kind of find it a bit difficult.
I was asked that about the modern rules. What kind of rules it's going to be? Is it going to be a Hollywood style? Is it going to be a simulation? Well, it's not going to be a simulation. No, I've seen that in rules or attempt, and I've seen the arguments and the headaches. I felt the headaches on all four sides of my head.
Yeah.
That's not the idea behind, from my perspective, for the modern rules and going forward with those set of rules is to provide a good base of mechanics that just allows your imagination just to go and just to play. So that you can do these really detailed missions, without a doubt. But you can still do that and accomplish that without all the little bean counting and that sort of thing. So
yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? It's all very interesting, and it's how you come at it, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I think for me, life is serious enough, and when you get the opportunity to play a game with your mates, you want it to be enjoyable. I mean, we talked about play testing Barons Wars earlier, and you might need a little lie down afterwards because it's quite intense, but it's so it's such a pleasurable, enjoyable experience. It's quality time. It's time well spent. The same as if you like painting figures, you'll spend hours on it, and at the end of it, the end result is something you're proud of. It's time well spent, and it's that, if for me, it's that the whole. I want to enjoy the experience. I want to enjoy collecting my force and painting my force and putting it on a table that's nicely painted, and my mate turns up, and hopefully he's got a nicely painted force as well. Then you have a real enjoyable game, and you really enjoy yourself, and at the end of it, you've had that was time well spent, and for me, that's really important. So
while you're playing that game, you're being inspired to build the next game, the next time. That is what that's important to me, and I'm sure that's what's important to you guys. So as you're playing this, oh my God, I can do this and this and this, and then you look at your toys and you look at your figures, say, okay, I'm going to build this unit, or I don't have this terrain piece, or I don't have this vehicle.
Yeah,
I agree. I totally agree, Tim. And again, this is how we've done the Barons War.
Mm-hmm.
You can create. It's very narrative driven, so you can create your troops, and your groups. So you can end up, if you're really sad like I am, you could name them all your groups and bring them out and get very attached to them all, or not. However you want to do it. So it's that kind of thing.
Yeah. I think that's where skirmish gaming has gone and is going, and in that direction is where we're going. As far as creating the universe, creating the ethos, creating your team, creating your characters.
Yeah,
because we all come from I started playing D&D when I was 8 years old, and so we want to have that role playing aspect in a miniature game, and we were wanting to create a history and put life into this, just like what you guys said. It's your mates and stuff.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Totally.
It's hard to cut you off.
No. You actually added to it. You're absolutely right, and I think that was what made Warhammer very attractive, because you could name your characters and you could create them in. There was you could see. Funny enough, I was reading second edition and third edition recently, and you can see where they were role players, and you can see you can see the crossover. Very at that time. I mean, it's gone. It went totally off in its own direction, but in those early versions of the game, there's a real crossover to it. So it's really exciting. I get quite sad when I see people arguing about it and getting really wound up about it. Yeah, tense about it. And I just think these people must really care that much about it. But it's a game, isn't it?
Yeah.
So Daniel says, a question about modern, Tim. See, for me, modern wars are a bit too real, but with a bunch of scenarios like XCOM kind of fashion, or for Predator scenarios. Is that planned? Yes. I'm very big with pulp gaming and pulp style gaming and all that sort of stuff. Yes, most definitely. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. And again, it can be quite narrative driven, can't it?
Oh, yeah.
Again, the real modern warfare is not very nice. So
But it's some really interesting things about modern warfare. When we were researching the Barons War, it costs more to outfit a modern soldier than a 13th century knight. But there's not a lot in it.
Yeah.
in today's currency.
Yeah.
Which I thought was really interesting.
Yeah.
Huh.
But the knight gets the horse as well.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
That's the plus.
Yeah, that's the plus side. Jonathan Patterson's asked, does the Barons War rules include rules for sieges? This is something I'm getting asked quite a lot.
Yes.
If by rules for sieges do you mean rules for climbing up ladders, going into castles, going through doors, that kind of thing, yes, there's full rules for jumping, leaping, going up ladders, going in, fighting in buildings, all of that kind of stuff, So there is that. However, if you're talking about sieges where you're pounding the castle walls for, days beforehand and all of that stuff, no, there isn't. But it doesn't mean it can't be done. We have that kind of stuff already. But I think we would have to make a campaign type of play out of it.
Yeah.
So so you'd have sallying out, you'd spend points to pound walls, that kind of thing, and you could link a bunch of scenarios together. That's what I'm thinking, and it will happen. And the idea will be we'll release that to download and play as a bunch of campaign scenario things. But if you're talking about fighting in and among castle tops and what happens if I push a guy off the top of the roof and that kind of stuff, yeah, there's rules for all that and how it all works. They're all in the core rules.
Yeah.
Fun.
Yeah.
So hopefully that helps. And Phil Craft has asked, who is the illustrator of the Mortal Gods artwork, roster cards, etc.? The person who did all of the illustrations, the black line drawings, is a chap called Steve Beckett, who is a phenomenal illustrator, and I have muchos time for. And I'd like to. He'll probably come on in a minute and say it's not true. I'd like to think that we've become friends over the years of doing this. No, we're not. He'll come on and say, no, we're not.
Andy likes to think that about me as well, but
yeah, I've been working on you for over 20 years. It still hasn't worked. But Steve's a wonderful guy to work with, and he's currently working on the layout of the Barons War book with me. So he's going to do some illustrations for that. The cover of the box is oh gosh, that's really bad. Peter Dennis. So Peter Dennis has done the cover, and some of the icon work and the Spartan layout of the cover, not the actual the Greek heroes, was done by Jodie, wasn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
So Jodie did some of that stuff. She did a lovely job on that, and she did the cover of Gangs of Rome as well.
Yeah, she did. Yeah, she did a cracking job. Yeah,
cracking job.
Yeah.
But the illustrator we work with the most now is Steve Beckett.
Yeah. And we're following suit with that as well across for the moderns as well.
Yeah.
He's a very talented man.
He is. Draws for the vino, don't you know?
Absolutely, yeah.
Which always makes me laugh for some reason.
Yeah. But yes, I think people will just, when they get the Barons War and they just see the cover, they'll be quite excited.
Oh, yes, the Barons War cover it's by. I was saving it, wasn't I, for something special, but it's become something special.
Yeah.
So we have a full wrap-round cover for the book by Peter Dennis. And it's lovely. I'm really quite excited. I can see it at the moment behind my monitor because I've had it on there for as a desktop. What I need to do is I need to go and get it scanned, ready, properly scanned, ready for the layout. So when I do that, what I will do is I will make a desktop art and I'll release it so people can use it because it's lovely.
It is. Yeah. Cool.
Sorry, another question. Doing Tim's job for him tonight.
he's just listening. He's like,
Mark Darling's asked, just catching up, reference the late Saxons, any mounted? Ooh, well, that's a contentious question, isn't it? Were there late mounted late Saxons, Mark?
I'm going to say yes.
But where's the archaeological evidence?
Well, there isn't any archaeological evidence really. There
was no mounted cavalry until the Normans came.
That's again, if we go back to that battle just outside Hereford, the Norman used his Saxons mounted, and they got their ass kicked. And in fact, they got their ass kicked so badly that they were driven all the way back to Hereford, and the castle was burnt to the ground. So there's definitely was Saxon cavalry. Whether they were any good or not is a different story. Certainly at that point. But if you look at all of the stuff that we have on the Saxons, they definitely weren't shy of horses.
Right.
They obviously rode horses a lot. Whether they actually rode them into battle, who knows? But I can't see. If we say we're using the Barons Wars rules, I can't see a situation where you'd be, Harry Wood the Wake is out riding and runs into some Normans where he's going to go, hang on a minute, gentlemen, I'm
let me get off this first.
Shield wall.
Because I can only fight the one way because that's what it says, and I have to dismount to fight. I can only fight. I can't possibly fight off horseback, even though I've been riding since the year dot, and I could probably ride before I walked. And I hunt off horseback, and I spend a lot of time traveling by horse. I'm bleeding useless on a horse, so I have to dismount to fight.
It's the whole stirrup argument, isn't it?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Well, there's stirrups and there's stirrups, isn't there? There's what we've, the archaeological finds of steel stirrups and metal stirrups and different things. But, stirrups could be, bit of string, bit of rope, bit of leather, bit of anything. I used to do quite a lot of horse riding when I was younger. Not anymore. I wouldn't put my weight on top of any horse now. I think the RSPCA would be just straight down on top of me going, get off that. But when I learned to ride, I learned to ride bareback, and I used to ride with a saddle as well. And sometimes, if because it was at a riding club, you wouldn't always have all the right kit. You make do with whatever you can put your hands on. So
yes.
Yeah.
So
I don't see. Yeah, I would do. I'd quite happily do some Saxon cavalry. And
I'd like to do some late Saxon. We haven't done any, but that is something I'd like to do. I'd like to do a small unit of them.
Yeah, and I just think people could either use them or not. Yeah.
Well, that means they're not finished then, so I can do some more late Saxons.
Well, we have plenty of horses already we can use.
Funny. Yeah.
I'll change the subject quickly. There's another question. David Cab says, will you still be calling the rules the Barons' War, or will the name change as the scope is much wider? It is the rules will be called the Barons' War, but only because the characters and the troop types, the warriors in there, will all be based around, the army lists in the book will all be based around the Barons' Wars.
Yeah.
But if we took that out, and you could then just put in, Stephen and Matilda, or we could take that out and you could put the Crusades in. So it will be called the Barons' Wars. Just that's what it's made for. But what we will do is we'll bolt stuff on.
And we have to keep it simple for people like me, because we've been calling it the Barons' Wars for so long. If you change it now, I'll be confused.
I think everybody would be confused. The Kickstarters, both the Kickstarters have been really successful, and I think in people's heads that's how they relate to it now.
Mm.
So if we changed it, I think, and I did think about it. I did think about changing it. It would confuse the matter, I think. So we'll leave it at that. And you could argue that the Barons, if you put Barons' Wars and put an S on the end, that covers all of them, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But, we'll see where it goes. I mean, the idea is that rule book will be self-contained, but you can use it, and we'll add lots to it.
Yeah, I think we have to say we're quite looking forward to the feedback on it, aren't we?
Yes and no.
Well, I am, because it's not my baby. But I like it. In some ways, I think it's a bit anarchic. Compared to some of the other stuff that's available at the moment, and I like that I can make it. I can go and drool over the army lists and get my army list to, we've been playing 1,000-point games, so to get my army to like 999 points or 1,000 points exactly on, and fielding a force that is flexible enough to deal with most things, and that is I love doing that.
It's very easy to add colour, isn't it? Because we're using that system.
Yeah.
Because if you want Flemish mercenary crossbowmen, you just take veteran crossbowmen, don't you? You could give them an ability to give them a bit of a flavour around that. Yeah. You just say these are my Flemish crossbowmen.
Yeah. And we're talking about giving it a bit of character. Obviously I've got Good King John and his tax collecting retinue, and one of the units he's got is Flemish crossbowman, and he's got a sergeant mercenary with him who's just known as the translator. So the bowmen are called the money sniffers, and another unit spearman is called the door knockers, because it's like Why not?
Yeah, absolutely.
There you go. I'm all excited about Barons Wars again now.
You did. Yeah. Jonathan Paston says, how many figures are needed for 1,000 points? Depends, doesn't it?
It does depend. I mean, I think what we have to say, Jonathan, is you can go for top-notch knights, which are absolute killing machines that you don't want to be in the way of.
It'd be true to
Yeah.
form. If
Yeah.
you had a group of top-notch knights on war horses, they probably won't die.
No.
But they'll cause a lot of mess, but they can only do so much.
Yeah.
So you're putting a lot of points into that one unit.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Definitely, you don't want all your eggs in one basket. With the fluidity of the way the game plays and the way it plays, you want to have a reasonable selection of units that give you some flexibility, tactical flexibility to deal with whatever situation you want to enforce on the field or you're forced to react to. So trying to get that balance right is interesting. So it's like, how long is a piece of string? If you take, you could take a whole unit, a whole army of green troops and try and swamp the battlefield. I guess they'll probably spend most of the time running away. But or you pick a few key units and some who are not quite so important and want to do certain jobs. And if they've got a particular job to do, you might make sure that they're decent. So you have a real within 1,000 points. You've got everything from what you might call, for want of a better phrase, a horde army, to a small elite kind of like spear point army, and you can make everything in between.
But we're averaging about 30 to 40 miniatures at 1,000 points.
Yeah.
But we're saying that's kind of the sweet spot we've got at the moment. We started by playing 500 points.
Yeah.
And that's a good size game as well. So, you get 20, 25, miniatures in 500 points if you choose them right. Yeah. And if, this is just the Barons War, but then if we're going to release, say, we were going to put them in the same book, but we're going to release Norman, Viking, Saxon, army lists, Welsh, Irish, Scots, Islanders. Yeah. They'll all come at the same time, but we're going to put them on a website. So you'll be able to download them for free. So if you were going to play the Irish, like George had the other day, I've never seen Mark look so scared. He was nearly outnumbered 2-1, but it was a very close game, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
So you could have quite a, I'm sure he had about 50, 60 figures, didn't he?
Oh,
on the first one he had.
But, I was like, just as he was putting the figures out on the table, I was going, how am I gonna deal with that? It was just so different from the force he fielded before, and so different from my force. I was like, this just is he put 2,000 points on the table? Did I not get the memo that we were playing a bigger game? But and that was a really good fun game. But again, it's that within that structure, that's almost two classic examples of a really kind of like expensive army, because obviously John only hangs around with with posh people. He won't hang around with anybody with peasants and stuff like that. Good grief. So his army is quite expensive, and you don't get a lot. Whereas the army that George bought, it's got Irish nobility and stuff in it, and loads of different troops, and it was massive. I mean, we played on a 4 foot by 3 foot table.
Yeah.
And he was scratching his head where he was going to put all of his troops. So, very exciting game.
Yeah, and just funny enough, it's like Phil's feeding us. Phil Craft said, "How about Galaglass Warrior miniatures someday?" Well, yeah, they started around that time, and what we've been using at the moment is Vikings with Dane axes to be them, because they were kind of still quite raw. They're not what you'd imagine Galaglass to be.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll definitely do them. But Paul Hicks has already made some beautiful Galaglass, hasn't he? Not for us, but
not for us.
Yeah, but for someone else, they're beautiful.
Yeah, they are lovely.
So if you can't wait, I'd go and hunt those out. They're beautiful.
Yeah.
But we again, Phil, we've there's Galaglass in the Irish list.
Yeah.
So you can, and they're really hard. Yeah, you can field them, and you can field them in different ways as well. So you can take just Galaglass. You can take Galaglass with it's like their squires they have.
Yeah.
So he'll allow you to chuck javelin. So it's a good little mix. So yeah, there we go. We must be talked out by now.
I think so.
It's nearly 9:30.
I know.
Again, yeah.
Have we answered everybody's questions? Has anybody else got any questions before we go?
I'm quite enjoying that we're the third one in now, and it's nice that people are coming on and asking questions and stuff. So we always go. We'll do about half an hour. Do we are? An hour and a half.
It's not. I tell you what, it's nice to recognise people.
Yes,
and keep recognising people over not just coming here, but also who are in the community and writing and stuff.
Yeah.
There's loads of these people I'd love to play games with.
Yeah.
Maybe we should do that one day. Maybe not now, obviously we can't, but maybe when we come out of the other side of all of this, maybe we should do a day.
Yeah.
Maybe we do a day. Maybe you come over, Tim. Maybe we just do a day of gaming somewhere. We just play loads of games and just a big Footsore thing.
I would love it.
Yeah,
give loads of stuff away, eh, Mark?
What? Yeah, I know I'm the grumpy old man, but I really believe in the community and everybody. If it's a positive input, I'm all for supporting it. And nothing says thank you like toy soldiers, as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
And it's I know we sit here behind closed doors and come up with our games and stuff and do bits and pieces, but at the end of the day, we do it for ourselves. But we hope that when it goes out there, that the community will love it and embrace it the same way we do. And that's that for me. That's really important. I'd like like I say, I hope we never do release a howler. But you want that. The fact that everybody's enjoying it and everybody wants to participate and spend the time listening to us and got questions and stuff is brilliant as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, and I'm all for me. I'm not like you. I'm all for a big party as long as I'm the centre of attention.
I'll be next to Andy.
I'm gonna have a plate of cucumber sandwiches, especially made for Tim. For when he comes over, and a pot of tea.
Prawn toast is good.
Yeah, no, that's not what you're having, Tim. You might get you might get some sponge cake as well.
Oh.
Yeah, it definitely be.
So Phil's on one now because we've just said yes for the Galaglass. He's asking for other stuff. He's just asking if we're doing regular Greeks, mounted cavalry. Yes, we've done them. For Mortal Gods, they're in that deck. The card's already done.
Yeah.
So and we just need to release the card. Yeah, it's all done.
Yeah. And I've been talking to a sculptor about just filling in some bits and pieces of the Greek range for us. So there's more to come. There's
definitely for mounted for Mortal Gods. Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah. So yes, we we'd like to do everything, and we'd like to do everything now. Logistically, it's impossible. But we'll always, like I said before, we always want to go back and finish what we've done, and we always want to, take on board what everybody's said and fed back and asked for, and deliver that as well. So, but we make, again, I probably said this before, we make quite a lot of noise, but we're not actually that big in terms of manpower, But yeah, just keep asking, he who shouts loudest.
Yeah, buy loads of stuff, and then we can get bigger, and then we can do more stuff.
Yeah, that's always good. I'm always a big fan of that.
Yeah. Maybe I can work for Footsore then.
Yes, that'd be good, wouldn't it? Yeah,
it would be nice.
Yeah. We'll lock you in a little room, feed you tea and biscuits. You're not coming out until you've written another game.
That'll work.
Yeah, that'll be all right.
Well,
yeah.
I think
we're done. Yeah, we're definitely done.
Yeah.
All the bases here.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot for taking the time to listen to us, and thanks for the questions. That's definitely helpful, and it's great for us to hear these things. It helps motivate us and gives us new ideas on the fly here.
Yeah.
So.
I'm scribbling.
Right?
Yeah. Always scribbling.
Yep.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay. Well, everyone have a great weekend. And please continue to send us questions. And we've got different Facebook groups. And please just send stuff our way, and we'll be more than happy to help you. So,
Yeah.
Have a great weekend. Everyone be safe.
Yeah. Stay safe, everybody.
Yeah. Definitely. Cool. Bye.